I did gain one subscriber.
I mean, any subscriber counts.
And we're live. What's up, Carter? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great, man. How was this week?
Busy, but it was good. It was good. I got like 4 videos, 3 or 4 videos. I think I got 1 video before we talked last week, and then I had 3 more that I put out throughout the week. So I think it was a 4 video week.
That's
or
awesome,
3
man.
video week.
Pumping them out. Yeah, I saw the titles got really interesting and different. So I want to talk through your strategy there. So real quick, let's do a quick check. I gained 1 subscriber, even though I haven't put out any videos to date since I know I've recorded like 2 weeks of videos and then we're recording this one. So I'm hoping to have at least 1 video out before this one goes out, or maybe 2, but I'm pretty far behind. I've been sick and it's just been tough to find time, but
you sound a lot better.
I did gain 1 subscriber.
I mean, any subscriber counts. No, I mean that's where it starts. Oh, I lost 6 subscribers. I'm at 486, but I mean, I was like 464, I think. So I mean, I'm still up 22, and I was thinking about that this week because I was like, man, I'm pumping them out. Like I think I got a video out before we did our catch up last week, and I didn't even put a thumbnail on. Like I was like, whatever, I just got to get the video out, and so I got like my generic thumbnails, and then I took your advice on the titles, and so I knew this was going to happen at some point. Like once I go switch over fully, and I'd kind of been playing that tightrope game, like I was cheating the system a little bit early on when we first started, because I was like, oh, I'm just going to kind of redo the treasure hunting stuff, and everybody's has their own political opinions and stuff. So when I start doing some videos on that, people are like, hey, I liked you for your old content that wasn't political. So we knew that was going to happen, but it is a little frustrating when you're like, man, I'm doing better. I'm putting out content. I've got thumbnails, I've got better titles. And a buddy of mine looked at it and sent me a message. He was like, why don't you have any hashtags on like under or above the title, under the video? Who's like, you can have 3. He's like, that helps too for like searches. And so I was like, yeah, man. I was like, okay, like one thing at a time. So the goal is going to be like another 3 or 4 videos this week, 4 videos, and then keep the thumbnails going, keep the titles going, and add the hashtags, and then just kind of keep incrementally getting better with the professionalism, and then stay consistent.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking at your channel right now. Let's see if I can share the screen here. Okay. So it looks like you had your last I'm hiking video, right? 56 views from a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And then your live stream ones from 3 months ago, they were doing pretty good, where you were on with other people that had followings. Those did the best, right? Where you had almost 900, 400, 800, 500. And then you kind of went right back to baseline, right? So now you're doing your videos 57, 45, 37, 22. But these are within days, whereas before your last hiking video was 56 in a year. So I would say that's an improvement.
I wonder too, like that last one, I wonder how much big tech censorship in the title and on the thumbnail just gets suppressed, because we find out more and more that there is suppression going on. There is, a lack of, it's all suppression. Like they're not going to put it out, or they may not bump it up. There may be something behind the scenes. And so I wonder, when you look at that dip, if it's just not being the back end. But I was like, whatever, I'm going to put the title the way it is. Because, it really is interesting how it drops off from 50, 50, 60, whatever, to 20. And it's like,
well, that's normal, because that's 7 days ago versus 3 days ago.
But even on the back end, I can see, and it compares it to all my videos or the last 10 videos, and it's in like last place or ninth place. And like, maybe it's not hitting a target market, or maybe it's being suppressed. I don't know. But it's like,
well, usually
it's like half the views that the other ones.
Yeah, it could be shadow banned is what it's called, where there's no apparent signs, but you just kind of feel like something's not working. But I will say that most of the people that I've seen on YouTube that get banned, they warn you and they tell you, like, straight up. So if the algorithm, and it's an algorithm, right? It's like it's a machine, piece of code that just senses keywords and like bans you or warns you or whatever. And then you have to get a human to kind of review it. And there are humans that also can straight up pick you out and ban you. But that is like your account gets shut down, or you get a warning or something. So if you're not getting any of that, like no warnings, you're not being flagged or anything, then it might be that it's just the topics are tough. Now, I do want to cover something that I've noticed here. So like your titles are really kind of complex, and you have more than one idea happening in the title, right?
Sure.
And they're cut off, right? So if you see like this one, true or false, 80% of Americans do not trust our, and if you mouse over it, you got a government. Okay. Our own government. So good idea, I think. It's just you have to execute it in the space that you can read it and get the idea. Otherwise, people just are like, I don't know what he's talking about, right? Racial and income inequality among top 3 reasons. Again, same thing. Like, I can see where you're going with it, but it's just too long. Like people need a quick. That's why title writing is really hard, right? Because it's got to be short, to the point, create curiosity, but also have some conflict or have some kind of hook in it. Common core, secure borders, and Trump. Okay, so those are 3 huge ideas all kind of together, and you have among top reasons Republicans lack trust in federal government. So the theme here that I'm seeing is lacking trust in federal government. And then you have national debt, big tech censorship, and aging elected officials among reasons I lack trust in Fed Gov. So again, you're having a lot of ideas in the title, and we need to move a level up from that. So think about people that are scanning, right? Like they're scanning. They just want to see something quick, right? Something really simple and easy that sounds interesting.
Well, no. I mean, I think that's the point, right? Is that the title was, okay, get those keywords and look at the videos. Like my homework, was like, okay, look at videos that had high other interest. And so what I took from that was like, okay, here's some big ideas, like you said. And so then I was like, okay, then I'll just put them in the title, because that's going to be like, people will be like, oh, Common Core, because it's not like lacking government, it's like, oh, these are like the main topics you're going to hit. So if you're interested in, or you don't like Common Core and you see that, you'll click on it. Like, what does this guy have to say about that? That was the thought.
Yeah. Okay. So let's reverse engineer your thought process through this. Let's do that. So so these are the videos these are the topics you wanted to cover. What were your keywords that you were, that someone's going to search to hopefully find your videos?
Like that, whatever those 3 things that I put. So the end of the title was always the same, right? It was among top 3 reasons, or top 3 reasons of lack of government. Lack of government was all at the end. So my thought was that it was whatever those 2 or 3, I think each one of them has 3 actually racial.
So the first word is the most important, and then the second word, and then the third word, and then it all goes downhill, right? So whatever the first, second, third words are the most important. So if I'm going to type in Common Core, like Common Core, so the top ones I get are Common Core Math, Common Core Math versus Old Math, Common Core Language Arts, Common Core just by itself, Common Core Math Explained, Common Core Multiplication, Division, Math, Nate Bargatze Explained, right? Like I'm getting all about people searching about math, right? And then yours is Common Core Secure Borders. So ready to go K-8 Science and Math, How Common Core Broke U.S. Schools. Now that's a good title, right? How Common Core Broke U.S. Schools. You're like, how did it break? I don't know. I want to find out. And hey, it broke. That's some conflict. Like Common Core broke something, like it broke U.S. schools. Oh my gosh, it's like crazy. Like how did it break it? 3-minute video explaining the Common Core state standards. Okay, but it's a cartoon. That's kind of maybe. Why Common Core math problems look so weird. That's another good title, right? Why do they look weird? I don't know. That's kind of curious. 100-year-old math teacher slams the Common Core method. Oh, that's interesting, right? Common Core Math Explained. So this guy optimized the mess out of it, right? Because Common Core plus the word math is like, that's like the first one that comes up usually, right? So understanding that keyword just by itself will help you a lot, right? So like you, just because you name these and put thumbnails doesn't mean you can't experiment with them, right? Like you can totally change these at any time. And people do it all the time, right? So there's no like rule that says you can't rename stuff after the fact, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so I would encourage you to kind of just experiment with some of these, try to make them shorter, try to have those punchier titles, right?
Sure.
And you kind of get into that clickbaity type of world where the clickbait titles get the most clicks, but you have to deliver on them to be somebody that people stick around for. Otherwise they're just like, oh, this guy just clickbait, whatever. So you kind of got to ride that line of like, this is what I'm actually talking about, but I'm saying it in a creative way that gets you to check it out. I like that you are putting more keywords and more thought into it, but you almost went like overboard, right? Like you put all the big ideas that you're talking about instead of like the one cohesive thing you're talking about. And then you made it so long I can't really get the core idea quickly by when I'm just scanning. Because remember, your video is just going to be one of many that I'm scrolling through. So the shorter, more punchier ones are going to kind of stick out with good thumbnails, and I'm going to look at those first. Is that helpful?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, I need to, I like go back and say, okay, well, like, are these videos the ones where, I guess it doesn't really matter. You're just trying to get somebody to click on your video. So then the rest of it is up to, the quality of the video and the quality of the content. So you're just trying to get that initial view, and then whether or not
that's all you're trying to do. You're optimizing thumbnails and titles and the content, right, of what you're talking about to get exposure to new people, right? Because we're trying to grow. So you're trying to get exposed to people that would never have found you before, right? It's kind of like your JP Morgan video where people were like just searching JP Morgan and they saw your video and they're like, oh, this guy used to work there and like he had this video about it, his thought, right? Like you're exposing yourself to all these different types of people across all these different topics, and then you're tying it all back to your core messaging of what you're talking about, what you're all about. And then that is going to resonate with people to the fact where some of those people will stick and they'll say, I like how this guy thinks about the world and what he's talking about. You're not going to get everybody, but you're hoping to get enough interesting topics to where you're going to funnel some of that traffic in. And over time, you're going to start attracting people. It also in today's day and age in marketing, like word of mouth is huge, right? There's a lot of talk right now in the marketing world about dark social. Now that the expense of paying for ads, like paid ads, is getting so expensive, it's almost cost prohibitive for a lot of companies now. So everybody's moving to social media as their marketing, and that means there's a flood of content now. But the people that know how to do what we're talking about and optimizing are coming to the top and winning that game. And so the algorithms are trying to optimize for the top of each category of each keyword. And so that's kind of the way to play for free until you're ready to start paying for ads. And really, you're not ready until you see a piece of content start popping off where it's like, oh, wow, like this is really hitting. And the algorithm is recognizing that it's hitting and they're promoting it. Now you can put afterburners on it with paid ads and really get it out there. So we're not there yet, and it might take a long time to get there, but there are ways to kind of boost organic content. So you can kind of think about it like organic content is your test, and then you keep playing with the titles and the thumbnails and keep trying to optimize as much as you can until something the algorithm likes and promotes. That's also why you can kind of triangulate with clips, right? So if you see that a video is not doing that well, but like, you know, there's a banger clip in there where you're like, man, I really nailed that. And that's like a 30-second, like I gotta just clip that video and put it in shorts. And then that might pop off and link back to your video, and it'll just kind of be a virtuous circle that'll help you. So
sure,
hopefully that helps. But again, one step at a time. I think you're doing good. Definitely considering all the stuff you got going on with the baby and family in town and all that. So, I mean, great job getting that many videos out and doing all that. I mean, it's more than I did this week. So,
well, on this one project, right? You did a lot of other stuff, so you got a lot going on too. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think too, just thinking about it, like spitballing before we close up shop is for this week is just kind of like the purpose of the channel and kind of the reboot is, you know, with this focus is it's kind of a different game from Mr. Beast and all these people. They're just trying to make something catchy, a catchy video that's going to be entertaining. They have a catchy slogan. And so then it's really just, I was looking at my whiteboard and what I'm planning to work on tomorrow and just sort of like, you know, I'm more trying to put a consistent amount of content out around building, hey, this is kind of like the conversation of a serious topic. And so these aren't so much the clickbaity videos. I think I can optimize the titles and stuff, but in terms of like laying a foundation for maybe some bigger videos with more research in the near future is sort of what I was like, this is my time. Like I think I said last week to work on those muscles and just kind of get the content out there, get back to recording, get back to preparing, get back to editing, making a thumbnail. Because when you don't do it for 6 months or 2 years, you lose your efficiency and it's slow and you're like, oh, what do I do again here? What is that? You know, where do I save it? What kind? I got to Google this again.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing though, too, this is kind of a really cool concept. If something goes viral at some point in your career, people are going to want to come back and watch all your other material, right? So think about it like this, like what you're building now may not be like your hits, but it's your back catalog. So at some point, somebody's going to come back and want to watch it at some point. So say what you're going to say, like get it off your chest, but just know that like it's here when people are ready for you.
Well, and I think too is it's just working it out, you know, like, hey, I do this, okay, you know, and now I'm good at this part. But then you're like, you know, like you said, like, hey, you know, I got to get back into naming titles. Hey, they got better, but they're way too long. Okay, like, you know, so then it's going to be the consistency of another week. Okay, what'd you learn? Little by little. But then you're like, oh, okay, you know, the whole format of the show may just be different. Like, you know, I need to edit way more, and I need to get it down from, you know, I may have 12 minutes and I edit it down to 9 or 9.5. You know, I may need to edit it down to, you know, hey, this needs to be punchy and it needs to be 3.5 minutes or something, you know, like I don't even I have no idea. And so then you're like, you're just thinking I was putting top three reasons. Okay, I got to have 3 reasons, you know, maybe each video is just boom. It's 3 minutes. It's Common Core sucks. No, I'm just kidding.